Smart. They gave us analog.
So are we ready? Okay, Marshall, it's on your, it's on the WhatsApp. Please let me know when we are ready to go. We are ready. Good morning, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good morning to everybody in the room and those who are online. Now we are starting our session where we shall be launching the report on the clash of systems, African perceptions of the European Union and China engagement. My name is James Shikati. I'm the country director of the Inter-Regional Economic Network, and it gives me big pleasure and honor to host this very special event, and also significant not only for Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world. I know in Kenya right now we are campaigning, looking for our next leaders, and a lot of conversation is focused mostly on the political party competition, which is quite healthy. But Inter-Regional Economic Network, as a think tank, we are conscious of that fact, but also conscious of the reality that Kenya operates in a family of the global community. And what happens out there impacts us in here. What happens out there will eventually come to the doorstep of whoever wins in this year's election. So first, I'd like us to go quickly through the program so that all of us can be on the same page. We're just getting started with the introductions, which I'll give each one in the room an opportunity to introduce themselves. And after this, I'll be requesting the representative from the Credit Human Foundation Hub, Kepta, who is representing Mr. Stefan Schott, to come and make his remarks. Thereafter, I'll be calling my colleague, Nashi Adero, who is the lecturer at the Taita Taveta University, and also played a key role in this research survey, to come and give us the brief report. And knowing that this is a perception survey, what we did is, before we release the report to the press, we identified 2 thought leaders and requested them to preview the outcome. And so we'll be calling them up from here to make brief comments on the outcomes of this report. And of course, we shall be having Professor Macharia Munene, who is a known historian and a former lecturer of USIU, who will be discussing on this report. And we're also honored to have Mr. Ali Khan Sachu, who is the founder CEO of investment advisory firm, Rich Management Limited. For those who follow him on Twitter, you know he's always very keen on matters geopolitics, and because our survey is very much on matters geopolitics, so he'll be joining us as well virtually to make his comments. It's after the discussions from the two that we shall then launch the report and give our media copies so that they can make use of the information to publish their stories. So at this juncture, I'd like just to have the microphone to pass around so that at least we get to know who else is in the room. For those who are online, I think we shall get you by your comments on Twitter and also on your comments on Facebook. So as President, just pass this mic around. So you just tell us your name and the affiliation. Start with the response.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeswali Esperance. I'm the social media manager at Iron Canyon. Thank you and you're welcome.
Good morning. I'm Nasser Madero, a lecturer at Clavera University, and I was technical lead for this survey. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Adol. I'm a project manager at FNF.
I'm Kelvin Watt, Senior Project Manager at FNF. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good morning. My name is Frida. I am the Administrative Assistant at FNF.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Kevin Wanda. I'm a media and communication specialist at Friend Environment.
Good morning. My name is Macharia Munene, and I'm a friend of Iron and also
Good morning. Yes, my name is George Mahangi. Yes, based in Daystar, Nadiala University. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Patrick Kimaku. I'm lecturer at Clavera University in the area of strategy. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Laloy, and I'm an independent project manager and a psychologist and a friend of mine. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Patrick Wahu. I'm the Training and Extension Director at the African Institute for Capacity Development.
Thank you very much. Each one of you. I notice everybody is saying they're friends of Iron, so Iron is very much honored to have friends today. And I think for those who are online, they might be wondering why we are having friends. The point is, after we were done with the survey, we hosted a special forum of reviewers, the thought leaders, to also go through the initial outcome and give their feedback. And many of the friends of Iron were the participants. Among others, who joined us, I think it was in March early this year, to review the report. So at this juncture, I'd like to invite Captain Bati from the Frederick Naumann Foundation to tell us a little bit about the new office, actually, which I'm told the other day you did what you call soft launch. And tell us when the hard launch will be, so that we can also, friends of Iron can come over. So thank you.
Thank
you very much, James. Really deeply appreciate the energy and the leadership you put in this process from the very beginning. And then to see the distinguished audience here today to witness the launch of this very important report. So first and foremost, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring the greetings from the FNF family. And as you've already noted, the FNF has a strong representation today. And that's because this is a very important event for us. We have greetings from Stefan Short, who is the director for the FNF East Africa office. He would have wanted to be with us today, but unfortunately, because of work commitment out of the country, he couldn't make it. But he'd like you to know that he's very much with us in spirit. And he hopes that we'll have a very rewarding engagement here. As James knows, perhaps the biggest fan and champion of the entire of this study is Stefan himself. So I think he is more disappointed not to be with us today than probably we are to have. So I'm just going to make a few remarks. But before I do that, let me first underline our appreciation to Irene for putting this session together. For the research team that conducted the survey, for the wonderful job that they did on a very ambitious project. For the panelists in advance, for your willingness to come and discuss this report. And hopefully could take it and illuminate more perspectives around the findings. And for you, the participants, without whom I think this event would have been so we deeply appreciate it. Now, because I'm aware that not all of us might have interacted with FNF before, I'm just going to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about FNF. FNF is the Frederick Naumann Foundation for Freedom. It is a German political foundation which was established in 1958 for the purpose of promoting, advancing democracy, and particularly liberal democracy. So what it sets FNF apart from other German political foundations is its political ideology that is focused to promotion of liberal democracy both in Germany and abroad the world. FNF works in around the world through over 60 offices. It also does work across Germany. The mandate specifically is to promote democracy, freedom and democracy, and all that appertains to that. So, talking about human rights, pluralism, tolerance, the rule of law. Secondly, is also to promote social market economy, which is an extension of free economy. But lately, because of the dynamics around the world, the foundation also focuses on two other new areas, which is climate change. So we're talking about climate justice, and also on an open and digital society. In East Africa, FNF has two offices, one in Kenya and the other one in Tanzania. In Kenya, as James remarked, we've just relaunched, we've launched the FNF Nairobi office. But FNF is not really new in Kenya. For those who are old enough, you might remember in the 90s that one of the most vocal supporters of the democratization process in this country was FNF. I know without a doubt that Professor, you probably remember them, and you might remember that FNF paid the price. It's one of the organizations, together with NORA, that were kicked out of this country because of the position they taken around the need for opening up the country to pluralism, to democracy, to human protection and promotion of human rights, and to accountable governance. So it played a very important role, but for those many reasons, FNF was declared unwanted, and the director at that time was Dorothy Olbretano, was sent back. But coming back to Kenya is a show of FNF's abiding commitment and belief that there is room for Kenya to be part of the transformation of the continent. So much of the work during the higher task was conducted from Tanzania. And you'll be perhaps surprised, some of you might be surprised to learn that Ireland is one of the longest existing partners with the NEF, having worked uninterruptedly for 17 years. That's nearly 2 decades. So we want to salute you for that. Now, in Kenya, the Kenya office, we have the program that focuses on Kenya, the country, but we also have one of the 5 FNF global hubs. So Kenya hosts the Global Partnership Hub. So it's a privilege to have this function here. These are centers of excellence. And there are only 5 around the world. So others, for instance, the Innovation Hub, the Global Innovation Hub, which is based in Taipei. Taiwan, it was moved from Hong Kong after Hong Kong was annexed by China. The other one is the World Organization Hub, which is based in DC, Washington. And there is the Global Security Hub, which is based in Brussels. So this research has been conducted as one of the very first projects under the Global Partnership. That's how important this is. Now, there are many things we share, of course, with the hierarchy. But some of those include a focus on our public policy, on support for intellectual activity, intellectual capital development, and this research is part of that process. Now, number 3, the study itself has already generated a significant interest in Germany. I know that James has gotten multiple invitations to go to Germany to talk to think tanks and policymakers around issues to do with the findings of this report. We do hope that the Kenyan and the African audience, principal thought leaders like yourselves here, policymakers, and the public, will also take interest in this survey and critically reflect on the findings and the implications for the continent. In our view, the importance of the study for Kenya and Africa might be summarized into perhaps a true key. Intellectually, it is a major contribution. I think globally, it's fair to say that Africa's intellectual output compares very unfavorably with other regions. So this is an important attempt to respond to that gap, the paucity of intellectual capital that is generated from the continent. And we hope and believe that it might contribute to catalyzing, stimulating intellectual intensity around the subject of research. But the second is practical application. We do believe that the findings could be useful in the interrogation of key continental, regional, and national public policy frameworks and processes. That includes the African Union Agenda 2063, the EAC treaty, and all the frameworks that have been formulated to try and promote trade, investment, and development across the region, but also across the other 7 regional communities. We believe that also it could be used to focus on in-country frameworks like the Kenya's Vision 2030 and to interrogate it. As James indicated, we don't live in an island. We're part of a global community. So our development priorities need to be also evaluated against the global dynamics. That includes how Africa is relating with other parts of the world, such as the European Union and China, which those are the focus of this report. But we could also, I think, use it to interrogate even international frameworks such as SDGs and see how responsive are they to the objective goals of the continent. In conclusion, we hope that today we shall have a robust and enriching discussion around this report. We are keen to hear the views and the critique of the participants here. And also equally important, to hear our suggestions on possible ways of deepening engagement around this conversation and taking this process forward. We thank you and we wish you a fruitful thanks very much.
Thank you, Captain Mati, for that great introduction and also for letting our participants know about the long relationship the Interregional Economic Network has had with the Project Naumann Foundation. Now we are moving to the next step, which I'm sure everybody is waiting for. So first of all, the report we are going to launch has a very powerful name, The Clash of Systems. So those who know history, and we are glad we have a renowned historian, Professor Nene, around. Whenever systems clash in Africa, things happen. And our report is talking about the clash of systems and African perceptions of the European Union and China engagement. I just want to repeat that we are in Kenya focused on elections, and they say all politics is local, right? But what we'd like to highlight in our report is that all politics is local, but when it comes to converting what you promise into reality, then local impacts. And this report is very important that we pay attention to it because we are having an election in the midst of clashing systems. Okay? Kenyans have just heard of Ukraine a little bit. They're wondering, who is Ukraine? You know, when fuel disappears, they hear Ukraine, just a little bit. When hunger prices go up, Ukraine. So clash of systems is a very important report that highlights some of the issues that impact on what we do here locally. And so before we launch the report, I'd like to invite our technical lead, Dr. Nash Adero, to come and take us through how we planned and the outcomes, and thereafter we'll get Professor Mene and Ali Khan to make their comments, and then we launch the report. Karibu, Dr. Nash. Already online? It's not the German wife. This one is fake. It's really expensive. It's old.